Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Samantha. In today's video, I'm going to be going over who I am, my story, and how I got to where I am now. Now, just like my life, this video is going to be a roller coaster, so grab some popcorn, a snack, a drink. It's about to get juicy. Let's start from the very beginning. So on May 28th, 2003, I was born in Lewiston, Maine. Nothing really interesting for me to talk about from the age of 0, newborn, to 2 to 3 years old. I have an older brother who is 5 years older than me, so at this time it was just me, my mom, my dad, and my older brother. We have separate dads. About 2 to 3 years old, my mom and my father decided to get a divorce. Things just weren't working out. Not everybody is meant to be, and that is completely okay. So they got a divorce. My mom ended up getting with somebody else who was my stepdad at that time, and then my father got with my current stepmom. They've been together ever since. So when I was like 3 years old, my dad got married to my stepmom. I wouldn't say that was something that, like, I don't know. Looking from the pictures, I seemed really happy. Obviously, I was very young to know what was going on, so it must have been confusing to have so many different parents in my life at that time, but it's life. After this, from the ages 3 to 8, there's nothing really interesting to talk about here. My mom, me, my brother, and my stepdad at that time lived in this big apartment building. That was the 4 of us on the top floor, and then on the bottom floor, it was my aunt and my 2 cousins. My family at this time were very close. We all spent a lot of time together. We do a lot of fun things. We spent every holiday together, every birthday. Like, we were a very close family at that time. At this time, we had 3 guinea pigs, 7 cats, 3 ferrets, and 2 parakeets. My mom was a very chill person, still is a very chill person. She didn't really have like that many rules. The only rules that she had were have manners, which everybody should just have common decency to have manners, and should be taught to have manners, and to do some chores. So we had a chore list, and when we would complete our chore list, we would get an allowance. I think that we were really spoiled. That is a very spoiled life to have. My mom always bought us whatever we wanted. My mom worked like at least 3 jobs to make sure that we all had whatever we wanted. This is where things go downhill. When I was about 8 years old, my mom found out that my stepfather had cheated on her. My 3 guinea pigs died. Our 7 cats unfortunately died. This is something that obviously is very traumatic. So then we had our 3 ferrets and our 2 parakeets left, so we packed up our stuff and got on the road with our animals and started to head to California. Now, along this way, one by one, the 2 parakeets died, and then 2 of the 3 ferrets died. Now, by the time we get to the state line of California, they tell us that ferrets are not allowed in California, so then we have to give up our remainder ferret to a new home. Talk about tragedy in its finest. Now, just like that, my home, my family, and my pets were just gone. I don't mean like my family died, obviously, but I no longer can visit my family. We're not a close family anymore. My home is gone, we're moving, and our pets, all but one, died. February 2012, we arrived in California. We ended up staying at a hotel because we obviously did not have a permanent home at that time, because this was a kind of last minute decision that was made. The stay was longer than we thought. Well, around this time is my first memory of my brother's drug addiction. To me, this is when I started noticing a change. The brother I once knew was no longer. My brother had been through a lot of trauma as a child. He started acting more erratic, and to cope with his suicidal thoughts and depression, he chose drugs and rapping. It wasn't enough to pull him out of this depression. Going forward, I started doing background acting. My mom found a casting agency and got me set up. This was really cool. I got to be on some shows and even a movie, like obviously in the background acting. But still, like, I know a lot of people who don't have that experience, so I'm very grateful to even just be in the background of something, because this was really cool, something that I had never experienced, and I made money from this. Like, I practically had a job. Now, I never really talked about this a lot growing up, like in high school or anything, because I noticed the times that I did, people would treat me differently. Like, they would act like they were my best friend because I was in the background of shows, which I just didn't feel like telling people and then them treating me differently as if they were always my best friend. It just felt fake, and I became very closed off. While doing this, we had bounced around hotels and living in our car. Now, the order of this is kind of fuzzy to me, like when we were living in our car and when we were living in hotels, because there was a lot of bouncing around the entire time I was in California, and to pinpoint exactly when each occurrence had happened, I don't have that memory. My brother was still struggling with his mental health and his drug addiction. It was just getting worse and worse. He started becoming a kleptomaniac, which basically just means you are addicted to the act of stealing. He would steal various amounts of money from my mom while asking her for money at the same time. He would break stuff wherever we were. He would cause damage to property. He would sometimes have screaming matches with my mother. I've seen him hit her. I don't know, just like in different ways. I don't think my brother's ever punched my mom, but he's definitely like hit her in some sort of way. He has cussed at her, all while, of course, being on and off of drugs. Finally, it came to the point where my mom couldn't help him, and she decided to look for outside resources, hoping that something would create a change. So she found a boys' institution in Utah, and we drove him down, praying that this would be the thing that would help him. Maybe it was the thing that he was missing. While he was gone, we realized that our financial situation was never because California is too expensive. It was because of my brother. We had a nice car. We then got an apartment. My mom got a new boyfriend. Everything was great. I stopped doing background acting though, because I started failing school, and in order to do background acting, you need to have good grades. So when I started, I did, but you have a 6-month agreement, and then, or contract, a 6-month contract, and then you have to re-up, and it's based on your grades. And when it came to the 6-month mark, I was failing. But I had 2 best friends, and I decided then, after background acting, when I finally stopped doing that I would start focusing on my grades more. About 14 months go by, and my brother gets released from the boys' institution. He comes back, and him being my brother, who's stubborn and doesn't know how to take advice of any sort, he is the same person he was when he left. But maybe worse? Maybe? My mom tried again to help him, but of course nothing was working. He was still stealing. He bought a tattoo kit and tattooed a gang name on his chest. He then did the one thing that I thought would never happen. And for the first time in my life, I watched him overdose. And for the first time in my life, I watched my brother overdose. And for the first time in my life, I watched my brother overdose on drugs. Things started to go downhill, and we got evicted. thanks to my brother. The amazing life that we thought we had was no longer, and we went back to living in our car and in and out of hotels. Not much to say after this point while I was at California. At the age of 13, I came to visit my father once a year or twice a year, depending on what they were feeling. I would fly out to Maine and I would spend time with my father. Stupid light. There you go. At the age of 13, you can decide where you want to live, and I made the executive decision to decide to live with my father because I wanted stability. This was probably the most heart-wrenching decision I ever made. I couldn't bear the fact that I would be away from my mother, but I also feared going back and dealing with the same thing over and over again. And I didn't want to leave my mom alone, but I also had to choose my mental health. So June 2016, I move in with my father. I'm not going to go over a lot during the 5 years that I lived with my dad and my stepmom. I never had a super close relationship with him or her. I felt like I was an outcast, closed off everybody. I wanted to accept that narrative because that's what I continued to tell myself, that, you know, I was an outcast in every situation, that I was meant to be alone and that I didn't deserve happiness and I didn't deserve a family. And obviously it's because of things that I went through, but I don't want to focus on this. And we finally resolved this situation. I don't want to sit and think about things that were kind of just a miscommunication. You know what I mean? At some point, my brother decided to move back to Maine in hopes to start fresh. He moved in with one of my aunts, and of course things didn't go very well because, like I said, my brother is my brother. If you're dealing with somebody who has an addiction, do not give up on them. It's not the end, but sometimes you just have to take a break, step back, and let God and the universe do its work. At 17/18, I had a manager position at a restaurant. I spent this time saving up for a lot of good investments. Like June 2021, graduation. It was the most exciting event to me at that time because I honestly thought during high school I wasn't gonna make it. I had a lot of moments where I thought, I am going to fail high school and I'm gonna have to become a super senior. Thankfully, I got my stuff together and I was able to graduate with my class. A few months after graduating, I decided that I wanted to be out on my own. I felt like I needed something to change and that for my relationships to get better, that I needed to move out. So me and my boyfriend, fiance at this time, but at that time my boyfriend, decided to look for an apartment together. We luckily found one. It was a small studio apartment, but we had an apartment. Christmas Eve comes around and we end up getting our little fur babies at that time. They're big fur babies now, but Anakin and Princess. They were our Christmas present, and we decided to name them after Star Wars characters, Anakin and Princess Padme. And it was kind of weird we named them after a couple when they're brother and sister. We don't talk about it. Now we're going to get into career choices and my spiritual journey. During high school, I never knew what I wanted to do. I loved drawing. I was very into art. I loved painting. Like, I was so into art, and I thought this was going to be my career. I realized that this was more of like a hobby for me and not a full-time career. I just didn't know what to do, and I was like, what am I good at? Well, I'm good at art, so I could do art. I worked at a couple different restaurants and fast food chains. Then I decided it was time for me to really figure out what I was going to do for a career. Obviously, I wasn't going to college. I considered college while I was in high school, but I was like, It's not for me. I started exploring different career paths that I could take, and a lot of them didn't make sense to me. Then I just started to think about following in my mom's footsteps and being in business in some way. I was like, this could really be a career for me. I started thinking about either life insurance or real estate. So I decided to do life insurance. I found a life insurance agency on Indeed that was hiring people with no experience, and I applied. I wrote the best cover letter I think I had ever written in my life, gave a very detailed story or like essay on why I was fit for this job and how it could help me and impact my life and impact other people's lives. Sure enough, I got this job. Now, this was a commission-based job, so that was the thing that kind of really was a worry for me. It kind of bit me in the ass because I spent a month, did the course, I did it in 1 week, which was really bad because I crammed it. I didn't retain any of the information. The agreement was in 2 weeks you have to try and get your course done and also get your license. Well, I got the course done in 1 week, but then went to go for my license. I failed twice. After the second time of failing, I was like, this isn't it for me. I'm not making any money. I'm putting us in a really bad situation, and I was honestly being impatient and being naive. So I left this job, and at this time, my mom had decided to move back to Maine. So she moves back to Maine, and she got a job at this like AT&T type of job. It is like an outsourced job. We spent some time in office, learning sales and the psychology behind it, and we spent some time in store. Now, I think I was really good at this and I picked up on it really quickly, but it was quite a bit of a drive to go to the office, and my mom had quit, so I had no consistent ride to and from the office, and I had to make the decision to leave. So then I started working at the daycare that I'm working at now, and this is where things really went up for me. So after failing at life insurance, I decided that I was going to try to do real estate. So for me, I was just like, life insurance agent or real estate agent, no other option. So I decided to look into a real estate course, like to become a real estate agent, get my real estate license. And I was like, I'm gonna go about this the right way. I'm gonna actually take time to do this course, and then I'm gonna try to go for my license. Well, the course was like $400 or $500, and I was like, I can't afford this at this time. So I made the goal to get this course with my income taxes and wait till then to start this journey. Well, income tax comes around, and I ended up getting some investment stuff, like a really nice desk and just things that were also unnecessary, but things that I really wanted and had spent a lot of time waiting for. Some time goes by, and I meet my current best friend, Haley. Go check out Haley's Instagram, support a girl just like she supports me. So we meet at the current daycare that I'm working at, and we don't really talk much, but I, of course, start rambling. I have a nervous talking habit, so I just start rambling to her. At first, she was very hesitant to talk to me because she is used to being alone, and just was like, I don't really care for like making friends here because no one's interested in what I'm interested, which I don't blame her, but I was going to talk to her whether she wanted me to or not. Then as we worked more together, we started talking more, and I decided to start talking about real estate investing. I had watched some videos of Robert Kiyosaki and Chris Crone. I wasn't sure if this was a route I wanted to take, and I just started rambling about it to her. She was surprised because she didn't realize that someone else even knew who Chris Crone was. We got closer and she decided to share access to a course she got from Chris Crone with me. We realized that it came with 2 VIP tickets to his UFD event. Now, this was kind of short notice because it was like March or April, and we were like, well, if we do actually even think about going to this, it's in May, so we're going to have to save up a lot of money. And for me, it just felt like something that was not able to be achieved because I, for one, have a poor money mindset, and for two, I was like, I have a lot of bills. I don't know if I can squeeze saving money for this in such short amount of time. Her being the amazing, very giving and caring person, she was like, I'm gonna make this executive decision to pay for the both of us to go. What? I was very hesitant of this because, for one, I knew that would mean I would owe her money, and for two, I knew I would feel bad if I let her pay for me. But I told myself, you know, this is happening for a reason. I need to shut up and I need to stop being so picky about this and just go with the flow. May comes around and we fly out to Utah. So the event was in Utah. It was a 4-day event held in Provo, Utah. I had the most amazing time of my life. On my first day, I spoke in front of like 400 people. I had my own breakthrough with Chris Crone himself. We had a very cool VIP party this day. We had a lot of fun challenges, like breaking a wooden plank or board. I don't know what you would call it. A slab of wood. We broke arrows with our necks, and there was a bunch of other really cool breakthrough challenges, like a bunch of different meditation. On the last day, we did a really cool challenge that was awesome. The last day we did a really cool challenge, and I received a breakthrough award, which was my second time being on stage when I received this award. So that's one breakthrough special moment with Chris. Then I went on stage with a group for an activity, and then I went on stage again for my breakthrough award. I'm gonna make a story time on this, I'm gonna make a story time for you guys about this experience. I'm gonna make a story time for you guys about this experience, and I think with Haley, she mentioned that she would want to do that, and we can go full in depth about what happened these 4 days, the process of everything, and just what it was like as 2 19-year-olds to go to this event with no experience, and just how amazing it was. After that, I started working on the digital real estate course that we have, or that she bought, and then we decided to get set up for an Airbnb arbitrage business through Brian Page. We ended up getting a scholarship, which is really crazy that we have had so many of these once in a lifetime experiences, and we're only 20 years old. We did all the legal work for the business. We set up the LLC and everything. We still have to set up our business account and complete the videos. Focusing on my career, pushing myself to do more things. I started making content, and as soon as I came back, started getting into more groups, and I really have been loving this experience of just being a part of all of this, and really appreciating and really appreciating life, because before I was so depressed that I wanted to myself a lot, and to think about how I have rarely thought about that for probably like at least 6 months to a year now is like such an improvement for me. It feels amazing to not just be living life because I have to, but because I have a purpose. And I'm here to help you see through business, if that's what you want to do, because that's what I focus on, how you too have a purpose. And I love sharing this journey with you guys, and I hope you guys continue to be with me on this journey. You too have a purpose, and if you're here because you like business related content, I hope you stick along with me for this journey and continue to learn with me, because it's so good to be able to share with people, because we're in this together, and I'm going to help you figure that out. Because we're in this together and we're going to help each other figure it out. Although I'm still new in both entrepreneurship and content creation, I still feel like I have a lot of useful information to give. So I'm going to keep creating content and keep showing up for you guys and showing up for myself, because who else is going to show up for me but me? This is why I make videos. This is why I'm on this earth. This is my purpose, and I appreciate you guys watching this video. And this is my new life. And this is my new life. And this is me. And this is me. And this is me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching me share my story, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And thank you for watching me share my story, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.